Hi and welcome back to the Ruby Tuesday. This is my review and breakdown with minor spoilers for Star Trek Discovery Episode 1 for Season 3. So if you want to go into this completely clear, then do not watch this. I've been really excited to see the return of Star Trek, especially what they're going to do with this whole series. If you've seen the trailer, you'll know that they're thrust into the future. Well, Burnham definitely is thrust into the future 1,000 years. We left our crew in the wormhole, and crew were doing what they had to do to save basically the whole universe and time. So they had to take the knowledge that they had and the information they had outside of the timeline so that it wouldn't and couldn't be used to destroy everything, really. And so the opening of this, we see Burnham have an amazing, spectacular drop onto this planet. And she screams yes because she sees that there is life, meaning that there is life and what she's done is good. But then she meets up with a sort of scoundrel who I immediately like. I love his character. Fantastic. Through a series of interactions, that's an amazing fight sequence that I thought was really believable, to a city that is vibrant. She is fully aware now that technology is very different, that she is fully in the future. She's coming to grips with things that just are different to the way technology has expanded. She learns of the Federation's disappearance or collapse because of the burn that keeps on getting mentioned. All her Star Trek stuff that she's got on her, like a tricorder, are classed as antiques. And then she finds out that the guy that she thought was a bad guy is actually one of the last bastion people trying to protect the species. Since the Federation died, there was no one to protect the species. Is that, all the acts, everything that the Federation stood for is no longer intact. And so there are pockets of people, by the looks of it, he is definitely part of that, saving species. And so we get an action sequence with this worm-like species who you shouldn't look at, and munches down on a few of the bad guys with a weird shooty weapon. I don't think you can call it a pistol. It's like a pulse beam that can disintegrate your molecules or something, turn you into nothing, really. Pretty cool. I guess this episode could really be called Hope, as Burnham goes through a series of emotions that is again displayed on this actress very well. You feel for her plight because although she survived, she's missing her crew. It doesn't look like they're coming around. They could, because of timey-wimey stuff, they could end up coming the next day or 1,000 years. So she could have a very, very long wait. Also, she's in a future which is not really the future she wanted. There is no Federation, and there is a last bastion though. There's this guy that she meets at the end who's been at his post for 40 years but can't be commissioned as an actual Starfleet officer or be commissioned into Starfleet at all until a commissioned officer does so. And so there's this whole really great scene where you can see he's almost in tears, and Burnham is in tears. She seems to be very emotional this episode, and you get this music and score that swells in the moment, and it really kind of brings up the hope of what is to come in this series, what is to come to bring together, to rebuild basically Starfleet. I really like the fact that they've now taken this storyline and put it somewhere else. So it's almost like it's in a different timeline, it's a different Starfleet, what it's going to be. And so there shouldn't be any mixes now with the original kind of timelines unless they go back in the past. But it feels like it's its own contained story. It feels like they should have always done this. Two of the best things in this episode is, one is definitely the special effects. They look fantastic. The score that goes in hand with the action sequences and the special effects are so good. It's one of the things I've always liked about Discovery is the score. And the score here is fantastic. It's a character of its own. It heightens to that tension when you need it. It heightens to the swell of emotion when you need it. The non-score bits, so that's just the effects of like the bish bosh baffs effects, are all very great as well. It looks fantastic. It's filmed obviously 4K, so if you've got 4K capabilities, you're going to see it in all its glory. As a pilot episode for a season 3, well, I said not a pilot, but an episode 1, this is kind of how you want to set the bar. Although, and I am a little bit wary because we had that first episode of Picard, which I really loved, and then the rest of the series I was like, what on earth is this? I'm hoping that they keep up the the pacing, because the pacing was really great, the acting, so you have a little bit of the quirky dialogue as well as the seriousness. If you can balance the two, because you can't always have seriousness, then it's just dull and depressing. But if you have levity moments with characters, they are able to bring that, and I felt that connection between Burnham and her new kind of ruffian scoundrel dude that reminds me of obviously Han Solo. I think they're a little bit leaning into that. Different franchise, I know, but still, it reminded me of that. I thought it was fantastic. I thoroughly enjoyed this. I'm so looking forward to the next episodes. Let me know, what was your favorite moment in this episode? There were so many moments that stood out to me. Even the little things of seeing one little creature eat another little creature as we get like a pan. It was like just almost inconsequential, but they decided to add it, and it just adds to the vibrancy. It adds to the, oh, we're in sci-fi land. You know, this is all science fiction. It's all out there. It's all making your mind race with the possibilities of what could happen, and I love that. That to me is true Star Trek. So whether you're a fan of Discovery or not, I'm hoping that season 3 will bring audiences back, will bring those that didn't quite love this Star Trek and maybe like it now because it's doing its own thing. But also, if you think of it not as Star Trek almost, you would enjoy it just as a science fiction program, because it has high quality and good acting. So let me know in the comments below what you thought about this first episode. Thanks so much for watching this kind of episode breakdown. Let me know in the comments below what you thought about it. But most of all, until next time, remember, live long and Tuesday.